We have had many people occupy the Venom symbiote over the years throughout all sorts of media. Of course, the first one being Spider-Man in the comics, then Eddie Brock, then Matt Gargan, aka the Scorpion at some point. Even Peter became Venom for a brief moment in the Ultimate Comics. I'm sure there's more people who had the Venom symbiote. I cannot think of anybody else at the moment off the top of my head though. But with that, everyone is wondering who will be Venom in Marvel Spider-Man 2. And the way I see it, there's three options realistically looking at everything we have in front of us, but there's only one true answer. So we will go from least likely to the most likely of who will be Venom in Marvel Spider-Man 2. Before we get into today's video, do you enjoy watching Spider-Man content on YouTube? If so, you found the perfect channel to join. For an affordable price of only $2 a month, you can get exclusive access to priority reply to comments, these cool custom badges I made myself, as well as some Spider-Man emojis. But wait, there's more! And lastly, you can get early access to content. If any of that sounds interesting, what are you waiting for? Join today. Thank you for your time. Back to your regularly scheduled content. So first, let's start off with the least likely choice. Let's start off with Harry Osborn. For some odd reason, a lot of people abnormally want to see Harry Osborn in this universe become Venom. Now, I'm going to lay out some points I see people make, and I will give counterpoints to all of them, and as well some extra reasons as to why Harry Osborn likely just won't work as Venom, but as well why I personally don't see him being the main Venom of this universe, and occasionally I'll play devil's advocate. So argument one people have is, oh well, he currently has a symbiote while he's in that tank in the post-credit scene, it's keeping him alive. I have so many counterpoints for just this single argument alone, but let's get into it. 1. Just because he has the symbiote, this does not mean he will become Venom. 2. Why would the symbiote go from Harry Osborn, a dying man with a disease, then going to Peter, a superpowered healthy human being, to then go back to that weaker host that's dying? That's like dating an ugly bitch, then upgrading to Kim Kardashian, and then leaving Kim Kardashian for the ugly bitch again. Makes absolutely zero sense. Also, on top of that, assuming when Peter ditches the symbiote will want revenge on Peter Parker and Spider-Man for rejecting the symbiote. Now, I'll play devil's advocate. Maybe a plot line where the symbiote uses Peter's best friend against him could potentially be an interesting plot point, okay? Let's just say that. Now, my counter argument for that, Harry Osborn has no reason to dislike Peter, that we know of at least. And on top of that, Peter and Harry's bond is usually pretty strong. We have not really seen that bond in this universe as of currently, but even then, I don't see Peter doing anything drastic enough to piss Harry off to the point they aren't friends anymore, all cards are off the table, and Harry is just on the fuck Peter Parker train. So now I'll play devil's advocate again. You may say, oh well, Harry and Pete are best friends, right? Well, in Spectacular Spider-Man, Eddie and Pete were childhood best friends, and they made that story. Silence. To anybody who actually tries to make that a point, respectfully, no. Like that is the dumbest fucking thing ever. Listen, man, Peter and Harry's relationship is massively different from Peter and Eddie's relationship. I think Peter and Harry are a lot closer than Eddie and Peter, and here's why. Usually when Eddie and Pete are like friends or whatever for a while, they're childhood best friends. Keyword, childhood best friends. They knew each other when they were kids, then got separated for a period of time. And typically, Harry and Peter have like actively been friends longer, if that makes sense, than Peter and Eddie. On top of it, again, their bonds are like very different. On top of that, generally speaking, if Insomniac wants to do a comic accurate Venom, Harry as Venom is not Venom. That's just Harry with the Venom symbiote. So with that, I personally don't think Harry will be the main Venom just because he has the symbiote, or because if it can be done with Eddie, it can be done with Harry or whatever. Like, no. It would not hit the same. Now with that, a way more likely option, highly way more likely than Harry, because this has been explored upon in multiple forms of media already, and I would say it worked and it can work, and these forms of media that it's already been explored in, I think it was pretty cool. Some others would agree with me too. Some others may not, but you know, it is what it is. And I can totally see Insomniac taking inspiration from these different forms of media to actually make this character be Venom temporarily, not long term, to make that very clear. The next candidate is actually Peter Parker. Now you may be thinking, wait, what the fuck? You think Peter Parker can be Venom over Harry? Harry is just not likely for all the reasons above. But Peter is likely to be Venom, even if it's for a very short period of time, definitely not long term. That probably wouldn't work because they likely will want to, you know, have the triumphant W for Peter by the end of the game where, you know, he gets back off the dark path and, you know, he becomes his regular self again instead of keeping Peter on that dark path. If you've read the Ultimate comics, Peter did actually become Venom for a short period of time. I mentioned this like in the beginning of the video. This was because when he got the symbiote, conveniently enough, he ended up catching the killer of his Uncle Ben in his universe lacking. He caught that man lacking, so he confronted him and then recognized him, and he just turned into Venom. He got so pissed off thinking about his Uncle Ben, he literally turned into Venom, which then caused Peter to take the suit off. So there's that. And I don't know if you guys know this comic run. I absolutely love this comic run. I thought it was great. There's a comic storyline, I forgot the name of it, but it's basically like what if, and I think it's like what if Spider-Man never took the symbiote off. I don't think that's the name, but that's like the storyline. What if Spider-Man never took the symbiote off? This man basically became Venom. He never gave up the symbiote, and whew, this man was on some shit, okay? His first victim was Hobgoblin, because basically Peter caught Hobgoblin and said he's sick and tired of his shit, so he unmasked him, finds out he's Roderick Kingsley, threatened him to stop, sort of, and basically then Hobgoblin later found out who Spider-Man was, so this man thought it was a good idea to pull up to Peter Parker's house, or Spider-Man's house, and bombs it, and the house ends up exploding with Aunt May inside of it. Spider-Man could not save his aunt because the symbiote would not allow Peter to go inside because, you know, fire symbiote no like fire. So Spider-Man's design changes after his Aunt May passes away, and his costume takes on this look. This shit is fucking menacing. I hope if they do go the route of Peter being Venom, I hope they take some inspiration from this design. I really love this design. This design looks so cool. Spider-Man proceeds to pick up Hobgoblin by holding his head and gouging his eyes out, squeezing his head, and then he just leaves him dead in the street, webbed up, bleeding out from a crushed head. He also rips Shocker and Scorpion's limbs off, punches Kingpin's head in so hard it explodes. Dude, just give this man a symbiote, kill a loved one of his, and there's no stopping him. So with that, I think it could be interesting if, again, for a very brief period of time, Peter became Venom and Miles had to fight him, but maybe Peter isn't as strong as peak Venom because at this point the symbiote hasn't been rejected using hate to make it stronger. So maybe Miles can defeat him, get the symbiote off. I think that could be an interesting boss battle. Or he doesn't even have to necessarily become Venom, quote unquote, but a boss fight against symbiote Spider-Man would definitely be interesting. Now this leads me to who I think Venom will be, and I think, come on, we all know who it is.
So this is where you make the big reveal and I say, holy cow, Norman Osborn, or the Kingpin, Jonah Jameson. Come on, please be Jameson.
Eddie fucking Brock, man. Listen, there is no way main Venom in this universe does not end up as Eddie Brock. Harry is the curveball that they're throwing us, right? You may say, oh, well, Eddie hasn't been introduced or built up yet, so how could he be Venom? Or Eddie doesn't even exist in this universe yet. Into both of those, you're wrong. Let me explain. Eddie has not been introduced into this universe yet, but it's still very possible to introduce him and build him up throughout the game to be this big bad villain that hates Peter Parker and Spider-Man. And as well, he does actually exist in the universe, we just haven't seen him yet. We have actually got many hints to Venom / Eddie Brock in this universe already. Exhibit A. This is from Miles Morales' Spider-Man game. This is an article by Mary Jane, and what's that right there? That says photos Edward Brock.
It's Edward Brock Jr., sir.
Also, this actually confirms he's still working at the Bugle even after Peter quit the Bugle, which is important for Exhibit D. When we get to it, I will bring this back up. Exhibit B. This is actually from a collectible backpack in Marvel Spider-Man, the original Insomniac Spider-Man game, and it's actually a going away card for, or that Peter got from the Bugle, I think, and Eddie Brock signed it saying, "Great working with you." Now, let me focus on, like, you know, what Eddie put. This gives off the vibe that maybe Eddie and Pete are not childhood best friends and they were just co-workers. Obviously, we don't really know their relationship in this universe as of right now, but if you were a childhood best friend with someone and they signed your leave card for work, I don't think they would say great working with you. Exhibit C. This is from Marvel Spider-Man. It's from a side mission where I think someone was pretending to be Spider-Man, if I remember correctly, or like taking inspiration. So like, you know, like they put on like a fake Spider-Man costume or whatever, and like, you know, we're stopping crimes and stuff. And as Peter is looking for this person, he says says this isn't a lethal protector. That's promising. Lethal protector hinting to Venom, of course. But on top of all of that, we have even more evidence that it's likely Eddie Brock than anyone else. Now, Exhibit D, and again, reminding you guys about Exhibit A with Eddie Brock still working at the Daily Bugle even after Peter quit working at the Daily Bugle. Exhibit D, the Marvel Spider-Man prequel comic issue #1. It was confirmed at the end of the issue that Jameson is actually rebuying the Daily Bugle again. So with that, I think they're likely going to go for a somewhat comic accurate take on Venom, with that being Eddie Brock and Pete working at the Daily Bugle, taking photos, and possibly having that rivalry, and likely the change will be like the story that gets broken by Eddie/Pete, and maybe however Spider-Man may piss off Eddie as well, and also maybe how Peter pisses Eddie off, but you know, we'll see of course. Exhibit E, this is iffy. This isn't promising as the rest, but it's something. There was a plot leak that came out, and obviously it could be 100% fake, but who knows? You never know. Sometimes these things are real, sometimes these things are fake. The plot leak said we will be able to play as Eddie Brock instead of doing stealth MJ missions, and I didn't give a spoiler warning for that because I think that would actually make people happy, because most people did not like the stealth MJ missions. It also said, this could be spoiler, I don't know, but again, I think we all know who it is, okay? Come on guys, use your brains. It also said Eddie will be Venom. There's a lot more context behind the plot leak, so if you want to go and you know, check out that plot leak, I did a video on it, you can check it out, top right corner. But with that, I think with all of the evidence and everything we have in front of us, it is so much more likely that Eddie Brock will be Venom in Marvel Spider-Man 2. Especially over Harry Osborn. Me when Eddie Brock is Venom and it isn't Harry in Marvel Spider-Man 2.
This is what I like to call my told you so dance. I told you so, I told you so.
So who do you think will be Venom in Marvel Spider-Man 2? Make sure you comment your opinion down below so we can discuss all of that in the comment section. Thank you for taking time out of your day to click on this video. If you are new to the channel, I cover Spider-Man related scoops, rumors, leaks, confirmations for the games, movies, TV shows, and I try to upload as much as I can. So if any of that interests you, hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers. We are almost there. I think I'm 300 away. That's crazy. We're going pretty fast. I appreciate all the support. If you want more of this type of content, leave a like on the video. Don't forget to check out my latest video on the left if you haven't already. I hope you ever had a good day and that you enjoyed the video. Until next time.